And tonight on CBS News.
In a shocking development, the federal government says being broke is allowed, but if you're broke and glowing, you are officially now a suspect.
You can't be glowing more than your financial status. Look your problem.
Producers have confirmed next season of Love Island will merge with the Hunger Games. Only one couple will survive the new format. Everyone else dies.
Senator Buck Nutley has unveiled his Big Girthy bill, a new proposal meant to rival the Big Beautiful bill. But does size really matter?
The shocking trend of Labubu violation continues as more and more people are finding their dolls' holes stretched wide open and reeking of shame.
If you thought Bigfoot was bad, wait till you meet his gooey cousin. A kumsquatch was just spotted in Dongwood National Forest.
Did you know IKEA has released a home glory hole kit called the Fuke Hole? It includes pre-drilled panels, mounting brackets, and a stain-proof finish. We begin with breaking news out of Massachusetts, where residents are reeling from what scientists are calling a cum-comet impact.
Officials are asking everyone to stay indoors and to wear N95 masks in case of cum aerolization.
President Trump kicking off another busy week at the White House.
It has been yet another eventful week in Washington.
The activity level is off the charts. The president dialed in. He is executing his agenda at a lightning fast pace. Here's something we rarely see in American politics. President Trump is actually keeping his campaign promises, and he's doing them as quickly as possible.
This administration is moving at political light speed, and they're just getting started.
We're going to have one shot at this, and no other president's going to do what I'm doing.
Goodbye. We love you. We will be back in some form. Have a good life. We will see you soon. Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's official. Former President Donald Trump will be running for president again in 2024.
Donald Trump got the stamina and the will to do this again? He's come under such tremendous...
Everything is on the line in this election.
A busy day in the campaign world up in Butler today. Former President Trump holding a rally at 5 o'clock.
He just tried to kill President Trump.
Not even an assassin's bullet could stop him.
Feels like the climax of a superhero movie. The first act, up 2016. The second act, 2020. The third act, he almost dies. And then what happens?
Donald Trump will become the 47th president of the United States.
Rare.
I return to the presidency confident and optimistic that we are at the start of a thrilling new era of national success.
The bottom line is whether you like Trump or you don't like him, you can't say that he's coming and not try to deliver, and he's doing so in historic fashion.
A tide of change is sweeping the country. Sunlight is pouring over the entire world, and America has the chance to seize this opportunity like never before.
We have breaking news. A laser-guided ship missile has just been launched from Rectomopolis, reportedly targeting Pennsylvania.
We're live from the scene where a laser-guided ship missile launched from Rectomopolis has struck Pennsylvania.
This just in, a pubnadal blankets St. Louis in a thick bush this evening.
Downtown is completely covered in pubic hair, causing highways to close out of caution.
It's coming right for us. We need to get out of here now. Oh my God, it's taking the houses.
A massive gizzard has buried Kamlambus in 2 feet of dongload. Locals blame the lack of preparation on Mayor Linda P. Slurp.
The city of Columbus is reeling today after an unprecedented event. What officials are calling a jizzard has left downtown streets. Customs officials at Orbital Port 69 have seized over 420 stolen Jork blades, many still warm and dripping. A magnitude 6.9 queefquake rattled Clamlip Valley this morning, releasing a torrent of pussy farts. The children's reading session of This Little Piggy Got Pegged has been cancelled, with parents saying the book is too anatomically detailed for kids.
Lawmakers remain deadlocked on the big beautiful bill, with some saying 10 billion more is needed for fleshlights and robo-cooters for dudes on dry spells.
Los Angeles, because she served her fried chicken instead of a quinoa salad. Megan Mayonnaise went to the restaurant called The Last Supper, where she claimed she was flabbergasted that they would serve her fried chicken when she in fact ordered a quinoa salad. Ms. Mayonnaise said waitress Sharkeisha Trinity knowingly gave her fried chicken, although Ms. Mayonnaise pleaded that she didn't want to eat any urban food. We have Ms. Mayonnaise along with her attorney, Roger Bangher. Can you explain how you were feeling, Ms. Mayonnaise?
I told Sharkeisha Trinity 300 times, let me speak with your manager. And she just kept twerking, sticking her tongue out and laughing at me.
We have exclusive CCTV footage from the restaurant of Miss Mayonnaise and Sharkeisha's fried chicken confrontation. Miss Mayonnaise is suing Sharkeisha Trinity for everything she got, which is 3 deadbeat fathers and $100 in unpaid child support.
We need your $80,000 down payment now.
Can I do 6 child support checks, 1 EBT card, 10 Section 8 credits, and 2 Medicaid payments?
We take it all.
Welcome back to White News Network. I'm your host, Kimberly Kumquat. Today, the BFI released documents that claim no special files exist from that one famous island. Wink, wink. BFI director said, quote unquote, although you've seen plenty of known people at that island, no American people, you were just seeing shit. The BFI office also released perfectly edited 24-hour surveillance footage of that jail cell where the main guy in charge was being held. At this point, these guys are playing in our face. Most of you are too blind to see it.
Welcome back, folks, to the White News Network. I'm your host, Tom Blandley, and tonight a white woman is leaving her husband after trying a YN. HOA President Skylar White told WNN she is filing for divorce because, quote unquote, after trying a YN, you never go back. Her husband, Kevin White, owner of Proud Boys Country Club, says he is devastated by the news and that it is, quote unquote, total malarkey. The divorce hearing is set for July 13th at Cornbread District Family Court. If Mrs. White wins, she will be entitled to half of his shit that she never worked for. Next up, rock star Roger Bangher has already impregnated 3 women on his Fuckfest tour. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Want to do some totally unnecessary shit like mountain jump with a fly suit on? Then head over to whitepeopleshit.com.
Whitepeopleshit.com.
Swim with sharks. It's a blast. Make memories that last.
All right. Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm in here early. Let's do some news. Did I see somebody in the chat? Oh, look at this. Quiet Storm. You in here early with $5 super chat. He said, Keisha definitely take it all. Hashtag Houston STI results. Hashtag ooh, brother, ooh. That's AC, right? Hashtag bad bitch with bad itch. Oh, yeah, wait, I got a new one. How about this one? I got a new one.
Shit. Got your ass.
All right, bet. Yo, salute Kwame. What up, Playboy? I got a lot of the joints you sent me too. Yeah, international. Yeah, got your ass, man. 'Cause everybody been saying that she. I think that was Irvin Reed in the chat. So I was like, man, let me find Clay Davis.
She got your ass.
All right, bet. What should we call it? All right, let's do some news, man. I got a crypto section this evening too. I was actually looking up David Sack. He's the new AR and crypto czar. So yeah, let's go. Let's start with some lefties losing it. My girl, the Indian girl's not took the day off, so we got the regular Aussie.
Now it is time for lefties losing it. Donald Trump has deployed the National Guard to Washington, D.C. after announcing a crackdown on crime and homelessness. But be careful, do not even mention it to Democrat Representative Maxine Waters. She's calling it a civil war.
Words mean nothing. Actions mean everything. Watch this. Watch it very closely. Ask a lot of questions. Focus those cameras on everything that's going on, because this president is trying to lead us into what could be called a civil war.
Yeah, clearly Maxine Waters' wig is really starting to have an impact on her brain. Meanwhile, Democrat strategist Jim Kessler had a peculiar take.
If people are afraid to come to D.C., go to Disney World, get fat, eat French fries. I don't care. I've lived here 37 years. I am not afraid.
What? Yeah, don't worry about crime. No.
Yeah, they drawing with that, especially Maxine Waters.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
He said the news anchor, not old ass Maxine Waters. I knew what you was talking about. Nobody thought you was talking about old Crypt Keeper Maxine or her dry wig, bruh. Looking like somebody's great-great-grandmother or Uncle Lester.
Nothing to see here. Go to Disney, get fat. That's going to solve all the problems. Good one, Jim. And now to the Washington, D.C. protests, or should I say funeral procession? D.C. is our home. You can have it wrong.
You see this shit, fellas? This is what I be saying, that like we beat them with cell phones and laptops. Brother, we ain't out in the street marching with. This is some old 1960s. This is Keisha and Beta Male for getting shit done, and nothing gets done with this. This is out trying to be seen and congregating weirdos, man. Brothers ain't marching nowhere. We gonna get at you.
You see, it's our home. You can have it from.
Is that not the most tragic and dull-looking protest you have ever seen? DC is our home, you can't have it, Trump. I mean, all of this just to stop the crime cleanup. It's so tragic, the organisers don't even know what the heck they're trying to say.
When we say we won't go, that means we're not going to those mass incarceration, into their prisons and enslavement. We won't go into their ICE, what do you call his.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
She got your ass.
Beautiful sinners that he got. We won't go to where alligators live. Hell no, we won't go.
Yeah, you can really see that moment tick over, can't you, in her head? She's trying her hardest. She's trying her hardest, but she's got absolutely no clue whatsoever what she's on about. In fact, it is so bad, the protesters even turned on each other.
Leave here! Leave here! Leave here! Leave here! Leave
I mean, what sort of a protest was this? They tried to cobble it together at the last minute. And the irony of them protesting about crime when they start fighting each other. I mean, you can't make this stuff up with the left lunatics, grade A lefties. And now have a listen to some of the lefty Washington, D.C. meltdowns.
Because he hates the sight of homeless people. They're gone. I don't know where he's going to move them. I assume into camps, and they're going to end up on farms somewhere doing hard labor for people.
It's not about protecting the people anymore. Now it's about forcing the law on people.
It is a president, quote, undermining and negating power that a city already has in place.
Stop the cap.
To navigate its own population. It's not democratic.
This miserable has never experienced life without a golden spoon up, and you're sitting there acting like he's one of us. Let me learn you something here, Cletus. You are now and always will be.
Yo, these beta male soy boy lefties are the worst, bro. They are the worst.
Closer to homeless than you ever will be to Trump. You know, he could lose 99% of his wealth, and that would still be true. So you for the fact that you're more than willing to demonize the homeless community as being the cause of crime in Washington, D.C.
I've said it a few times now. We need to start burning. There needs to be a consequence. We can't just let fascism take over. We can't let Orange Mustache Man, Cinnamon Hitler, we can't let him just do whatever he wants.
No, not the tolerant left inciting violence again. No way, no way. And look, over at MSNBC, they too are having a freak out, claiming President Trump sending in the National Guard to address crime is, you've guessed it, racist.
I'm trying to hold my temper. We have to understand this, Chris, within the context of Donald Trump's racial politics and within the context of his effort to get Epstein off the...
Yo, I'm going to play this one piece by piece. This is what I'm talking about. These old paid Democrat black male goofy shields. And I'll be saying this, bro. If everything is racist, nothing is racist, and it ceases to have any type of political effect or moral high ground, you lose the argument. You lose the argument. That's how you get white people and stuff arguing reverse racism and stuff like that, because y'all done overworn it, overused it as a cudgel. Let's listen to this goofy's argument.
Front pages.
Ah, yes, that old chestnut. They just love it. They love the racist line, don't they?
Let me play it back.
Crime is, you've guessed it, racist.
I'm trying to hold my temper. We have to understand this, Chris, within the context of Donald Trump's racial politics and with...
I mean, we've been covering Trump since before the election. There technically are no racial politics. It's populist politics.
In the context of his effort to get Epstein.
I mean, the most racial thing is he wants these illegals out of the country, and we for that.
Epstein off the front pages.
Ah, yes, that old chestnut. They just love it. They love the racist line, don't they? Everything is just so racist with the left. Meanwhile, the crime rate is worse in DC than many parts of the world, but Dana Bash over at CNN is coming up with all sorts of excuses.
I should note that the most violent moment in recent history in D.C. was January 6th. And it was an attack on the United States Capitol by a lot of people who were doing it in the name of Donald Trump. And it included, the people who were hurt included members of law enforcement.
Well, this is just truly fanatical propaganda by a delusional woman, because Trump supporters actually died that day. She really is a useless liar. Now, former TV host and alleged interior designer Jennifer Welsh seems to have absolutely lost her marbles. She's gone on an unhinged rant suggesting Trump voters should not be allowed at Mexican or Chinese restaurants.
I've had it with white people that triple trumped, that have the nerve and the audacity to walk into a Mexican restaurant, a Chinese restaurant, an Indian restaurant, go to perhaps their gay.
Yo, this would have these leftist liberal white women who are the Democratic Party and run Keisha and benefited the most from DEI. They up here throwing these fits. This is a power grab. This is all this is about. DEI being dismantled. Yeah, Keisha's lost a lot of jobs, but primarily from useless federal jobs. And most of them were like DEI departments being wiped out. But these liberal white women are the ones who are benefiting most from all of this and are reaping all the benefits. So they're playing everybody. It's like AC say, Becky run Keisha.
Hairdresser. I don't think you should be able to enjoy anything but Cracker Barrel. When the felon is the teeny weeny mushroom piece of Cankles McTaco at the top of the ticket. I have had it from top to bottom. White people that triple Trump should be banned, boycotted from enjoying the best thing that America has to offer, which is multiculturalism.
Whoa. Okay.
No, the best thing America does not have to offer is multiculturalism. No, not at all.
Okay, well, let's just unpack that psycho woman's rant. Firstly, legal immigrants are not illegal immigrants, funnily enough. Secondly, 48% of Latinos and about 40% of Asians voted for Donald Trump last year. So old Jenny's bizarre comments are just disparaging against migrants who've actually come to the country legally and worked hard. And thirdly, as for Cracker Barrel, she's clearly never been. Jennifer, Jenny, Jen, whoever you are, you really are the perfect example of a white, unhinged, sad, liberal woman. You poor thing. Now, over in Nova Scotia, they seem to be doing a real-life climate lockdown experiment. I hope you don't like hiking, fishing, or being outdoors in general, because here is the Premier, Tim Houston.
Effective 4 p.m. today, we're telling Nova Scotians, stay out of the woods. We are restricting travel and activities that really aren't necessary for most of us. Hiking, camping, fishing, and the use of vehicles in the woods are not permitted. Trail systems through woods are off limits. Camping is allowed, but only in official campgrounds.
Look, don't leave home. Just stay at home, I think. Just stay where you are. Don't go outside. It is practically COVID 2.0, sealing Canadians off from the world. Welcome to 2025 authoritarianism. And now to Nancy Pelosi, who seems to have found herself a new job, this time helping kids transition.
Well, that is something that I'm working for at the national level, and we have, are hoping that we can have gender affirming care for our trans kids.
Bro, there you go. That is at the top of their agenda. And for the record, there is no such thing as trans kids. Trans kids are manufactured, if you know what I mean. Bruh, this is what I'm talking about. This is at the top of the Democratic agenda in terms of policy. This is what they're putting all their weight behind. That, legal immigrants, crime in your cities. So this is a party in decline.
Well, as I just mentioned, Donald Trump has announced a historic takeover of Washington, D.C., deploying about 800 National Guard troops to bolster policing. He says it's part of a plan to rescue America's capital city from crime and homelessness. Here is what he said.
I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back.
U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi said.
Yo, facts. Quiet Storm says, remember, this was our former Speaker of the House. She can't even put a sentence together anymore, but she keeps getting rich. Yeah, all that insider trading with her husband.
We got more pricey games coming up in the second half of the show. Don't go away, folks. We got more pricey games coming up in the second half of the show. Don't go away, folks. More pricey games coming.
Shit. Got your ass.
Lord of Brooklyn said, I saw an episode of The Black Conservative detailing how Mandani is leading by 19 points. Escape from New York part two. Oh yeah. It's like we be saying, the best thing for liberals is to give them what they want, especially people who vote these things in their cities, like so they can watch their cities decay while the rest of the country thrives. And that's what's happening in these Democrat run cities. Quiet Storm put like the list in the chat yesterday. It was like mad Democratic cities run by Keisha mayors. Worse crime rates, worse illiteracy rates, everything.
That the Trump administration would use every power at their disposal to restore law and order.
Let me be crystal clear. Crime in D.C. is ending and ending today. We are going to use every power we have to fight criminals here. President, thank you for caring about our capital. No more crime rampant in our beautiful capital.
Joining me now for more on this is comedian and host of Prime Time with Alex Stein on Blaze TV, Alex Stein himself. Alex, good to catch up. Thanks for joining me. Is this a good move, and can the administration actually pull it off?
Well, it is going to be a tough challenge when it comes to, getting rid of all the crime in D.C. because they have a unique situation where it is just there's basically no middle class. It's the ultra wealthy and basically people that are homeless. And so it's created this kind of ecosystem where people need drugs in that area. So they come from Baltimore, they come from Virginia, they come from West Virginia, they come from all areas to go and commit crime in Washington, D.C. because it's one of the biggest tourist spots in the world. And there's a lot of affluent people, so there's a lot of targets. So it is going to be a tough task to stop criminals from committing crime, basically an impossible task. But anything is better than the current situation that is going on in D.C. It is truly a dangerous place, and I'm not just being hyperbolic when I say that.
Oh, look, no, you raise a good point. And I've got to say, Alex, that the lefties, they're in a complete spin over this. They're having a meltdown, saying it's part of a civil war. But have they actually looked at the crime situation? It's so bad, you can't even wear a backpack into the supermarket anymore under the rules. Have a look.
Starting today at 12 giant grocery stores in D.C. and Maryland, if you have a bag over 14 inches, you cannot take it inside the store. So what does that look like? Here's a backpack, 14 inches. This one can't go in. Also, if you're under 18 years old, you cannot go into the store after 6 p.m. without an adult.
Alex, yet the left will tell you that this is undemocratic.
Yo, you can't even bring bags into grocery stores now? I didn't know it was that crazy. You said that rule is not new. Really? No news said fact. When we went from we are Flintstone kids to we are just trans kids. And just so we're on the same page. All of this was ushered in by Obama and thereafter. This is Obama and thereafter. We wasn't talking about no type of tease before Obama. Before the 2 terms of Obama, 1 term of Trump, where he tried to roll all that shit back, and then they doubled down on it with Biden, bro.
And, I see them constantly arguing during COVID. Every person on the left wanted to wear a mask, but now in D.C., which is obviously a traditionally liberal place, now you can't go into a store wearing a mask because they think you're going to rob the place. So maybe that's why they're mad, because they can't wear their COVID masks around. So this is a serious problem. That's why you can't take a big backpack into a store, because people are stuffing it with junk and, running out of the store. So I think the left are these crazy, loony leftists that actually are cheering for crime, that don't want Donald Trump to make it safer. They've really lost the plot, and I don't think they are really in tune with the struggles of other Americans that we go through every day.
All right, but let me load up my next segment. Speaking of which, we just ended on this this T note Let me play this one quick story because you won't see it. You won't see it on any of the liberal media. And we just did last Thursday when we had Obsidian on here. We did a segment where they had this professor from I believe it's Wisconsin, and she wrote this hit piece book on the manosphere, and she had to reference unalivings and was trying to attribute them to manosphere people who were in the manosphere, et cetera, et cetera. And she couldn't. She ended up referring to somebody back to 1988. But this is what Tito always be saying, like, yo, all these recent unalivings and stuff, it been from the tease of the rainbow persuasion, right? You feel me? So you won't see this story anywhere. It just appeared on the Fox News feed, but this is really what's going on. So I'm playing this one for the public record because we just saw that hit piece, all these hit pieces on the manosphere about all these, like it's like Tito says, where are all the mass unalivings by manosphere dudes and content creators and people who listen to the manosphere or attributing to that? It's really all been radical teas. So we're gonna play this.
Transgender registered sex offender will escape prosecution after he allegedly tried to kidnap a child from a Colorado schoolyard. Now, this is due to a controversial law that is driving some fierce criticism. Alexis McAdams has the details for us. Good morning, Alexis.
Hi, Dana. So, yeah, this is going on out in Colorado, right outside of Denver, where the suspect could be back out in the streets any day after the court says the registered sex offender cannot face charges. Why? Because they say he's mentally ill. There he is on your screen. That's Solomon Galligan. He's a transgender woman who now reportedly goes by Carmen. Galligan was arrested last year after he was caught on camera and accused of trying to kidnap a child near an elementary school in Colorado. You can see it there on your screen to kind of freeze it, but here he comes running by. The kids are running away screaming for help as investigators say Galligan was able to grab one kid before he slipped away. The family of one of the children who was targeted, Dana, is demanding justice to stop this from happening again.
And I want to be a community advocate, not only for what happened to my son and his friends, but also for the community at large, because things like this affect us all in the community.
So according to local reports, this was not the transgender suspect's first arrest. The 33-year-old's family says to reporters that Galligan's been in and out of jail so many times for more than a decade. And even with a history of serious offenses like assault, the law in Colorado says the case has to be dismissed if the person is, quote, non-restorable. But the assistant district attorney himself says that law has to be updated.
Ultimately, it begins with legislative change. If we are going to allow a case to be dismissed under the criminal statutes, then we need to have stronger civil commitment.
So according to reports, this is the fourth time prosecutors have dropped felony charges against Galligan due to competency issues, and there's no guarantee if he will even be held long term. So we'll keep an eye on it, Dana.
Wow, Alexis, thank you. Yeah. Right there in my old stomping grounds.
Yes, indeed.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
Yeah, that one's for the public record. Because we were just talking about this, like all of this unaliving and extra deviant violent behavior is coming from the Skittle Mafia and in particular the T's as of late. You understand what I'm saying? And like I said, you don't see that shit nowhere in the mainstream media. You don't see that shit nowhere. So when I came across that story, I said, okay, that one for the public record. Yeah, let's do a editor at large segment courtesy of Saul. Let's knock this out. This is courtesy of Saul. And this one, I'm glad they're going after this goofy Adam Schiff. He's a piece of shit. And really the way this, the way these new charges are looking with this new FBI whistleblower. Yo, one of these, somebody's got to get racked up on a treason charge, bro. Like, I don't know how else to put it. So this was a Democratic whistleblower told FBI that Adam Schiff approved classified leaks to target Trump. Intelligence staffer who worked for White House Democrats called the alleged behavior treasonous and illegal. Let's see. Let me see. Did they give us a news segment too with the article? Let's see.
And tonight, breaking news and new developments as the Russia hoax continues to unravel. According to our friend John Solomon, and a new report tonight just out, and he will join us in just a moment, a Democrat whistleblower repeatedly was warning the FBI beginning in 2017 that the congenital liar, Adam Schiff, had authorized leaking classified information to smear President Trump, which, by the way, could be a violation of the Espionage Act. Here with more on this breaking report, the editor-in-chief, founder, chief investigative reporter, justthenews.com, John Solomon. This is a big story, and this is a Democratic whistleblower, and there might be other Democrats implicated as well, like Kinzinger.
Yeah, well, one of the guys that's in here is Eric Swalwell. Now, that is secondhand information from the whistleblower, but the whistleblower actually attended a meeting with Adam Schiff when he was ranking member. Yeah.
I stand corrected. It was. They both hate Trump, so I kind of mix them up.
Yeah, they all merge together these days. Listen, this whistleblower literally sat in a meeting, he tells the FBI, where Adam Schiff authorized the leaking of classified secrets to dirty up Donald Trump and to try to build towards either a select committee in Congress or a special prosecutor. This whistleblower was a career intelligence officer. He had worked for the House Intelligence Committee, Democrat staff for a dozen years when he came forward to the FBI. He gave 4 interviews. He gave very specific information to the FBI, and nothing happened. Why? Because the Justice Department simply decided to take a pass. How many times have we sat around in the last decade and heard, we're going to get to the bottom of that classified leak, and then a few months later, we couldn't get to the bottom of that classified leak. In the case of Adam Schiff, they got to the bottom of some classified leaks, but the Justice Department chose not to act. So tonight, past attorney generals, people like Merrick Garland and Jeff Sessions and Rod Rosenstein, who was acting on Russiagate, they've got some serious questions answered. Did they know about this Adam Schiff stuff? Why did they allow it to be passed on? And will anything happen in the current Justice Department?
Great question. Wasn't it a hearsay so-called whistleblower that led to the entire Ukrainian impeachment? Just refreshing my memory.
Yeah, exactly. And it turns out that what he described in the call wasn't actually an accurate description of what happened. In this case, eyewitness in the room with Adam Schiff, able to deliver to the FBI. The good news is that Akash Patel has gotten these documents to Congress. By the way, this is the first of several major leak investigations we're going to see over the next several days. You're going to see other major people that were clearly identified by the FBI as having leaked classified secrets. Their own staff turned them in when interviewed by the FBI. Nothing again happened. It's a common pattern. The question now is, in Donald Trump's Justice Department, does that dynamic change?
All right, good for you, John Solomon. Also good.
Spot on. And they've got witnesses, key whistleblowers. Quiet storm, exactly. That's what I've been saying. That's why Akash Patel has been quiet. He's been working behind the scenes. And I think they want to see these prosecutions taken care of before Trump leaves office. So that gives him 2 years after the midterms to try and push prosecutions and get arrests on these handful of people. It's like, and we saw the polling numbers from Mark over at Rasmussen. The American public in general, they want to see some people locked up. Shout out to D-Rock Den with the $2.99 super sticker. You heard?
We got more pricey games coming up in the second half of the show. Don't go away, folks. We got more pricey games coming up in the second half of the show. Don't go away, folks. Off-fire stop.
Got your ass.
All right, but let me read the rest of this. A Democratic whistleblower told the FBI that Adam Schiff approved leaking classified information in order to discredit President Donald Trump, according to newly released documents. The documents, which were obtained by Just the News, were recently handed over to Congress by FBI Director Kash Patel. The whistleblower reportedly worked for Democrats on the House Intelligence Committee for over 10 years and reported Schiff's alleged behavior to the FBI in 2017. Wow, that's in 2017? Wow, that's during Trump's first term. So they actually knew during Trump's first term and still moved to impeach him. Yeah, that's a coup. According to the report, the intelligence staffer called the leaking treasonous and illegal. In addition to being unethical, he was most recently interviewed by the FBI in 2023. Do we got anything else? All right, I guess that is our editor at large. Oh, wait, we do. It's loading slow. Let's see. Okay, the staffer also said that he personally attended a meeting where Schiff greenlit the leak. When working in this capacity, redacted staffer name was called to an all-staff meeting by Schiff. The documents state per Just the News. In this meeting, Schiff stated the group would leak classified information which was derogatory to President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Schiff stated the information would be used to indict President Trump. The whistleblower stated this would be illegal, and upon hearing his concerns, unnamed members of the meeting reassured that they would not get caught leaking classified information. The report added, yeah, this is treason. John Solomon, who co-authored the piece with Just the News, Jerry Dunleavy, appeared on Fox News Channel's Hannity to discuss the report. This is the first of several major leak investigations we're going to see over the next several days. Solomon said, you're going to see other major people that were clearly identified by the FBI having leaked classified secrets. Their own staff turned on them when interviewed by the FBI. Nothing again happened, he added. It's a common pattern. The question now is, in Donald Trump's Justice Department, does this dynamic change? Oh, and this is from Kash Patel's Twitter. He says, we found it. We declassified it. Now Congress can see how classified info was leaked to shape political narratives and decide if our institutions were weaponized against the American people. All right. That's our editor at large segment from Saul. What say you in the chat? Oh, I see we got some people stumbled in. Okay, Muhajadid the Magnificent. Oh, Theo, what up, Sensei? Theo Waff in the building.
Off by a star.
Is it Theo Waff? Y'all did well today. I tried. Let me see. At least I can collect certs like Keisha collects baby daddies. Y'all wow. Oh, that's the Pookie Ray. That's the Pookie and Ray Ray show. Y'all be changing your names, man. I be thinking I be having trolls up in this joint. Yeah, I got a new drop, Theo.
Shit. Got your ass.
All right, excellent. Let's let me see what do I want to do. Let's jump into our crypto segment. Hold on, let me pull that up. Let's do crypto. and then we'll knock the rest of this out. I got Stephen A. Smith. Yeah, we did editor in large. Let's knock this crypto segment out. All right.
There's a
All
lot
right.
that we've been trying
Excellent.
to figure out, trying to understand what yesterday all means. And I wonder if you can, President Trump signing.
All right, cool. And this is David Sack. I've been following that. I've known about David Sack since about 11 years ago, when he was doing lectures at what is it, Jupiter University. But he's the new AI and crypto czar for the Trump administration. And some of his recent interviews have been pretty good. This is from 2 weeks ago. This is on CNBC. But just so we can get up to date, this is going to be a full overview of what Trump has coming down the pike with regard to AI and with regard to crypto, and how Dave is basically at the forefront of making sure these things are implemented within the current administration.
Multiple executive orders on AI after the All In podcast hosted tech and government leaders at a summit in Washington. Joining us right now is White House AI and crypto czar David Sachs. And David, welcome. We really appreciate your being here today. There's a lot that we've been trying to figure out, trying to understand what yesterday all means. And I wonder if you can tell us how the private sector reads all of this and what they will do in response.
Well, thank you for having me. I mean, first of all, let me just frame up what I think President Trump did yesterday. It was, I think, the most important technology speech by an American president since President Kennedy declared that we had to win the space race. And in a similar way, President Trump declared that we had to win this AI race. And I think you could argue that the AI race is even more important than the space race because it's going to determine who reshapes the global economy and who the superpowers of the 21st century are going to be. If the U.S. continues to lead in AI, we'll remain the most powerful country. But if we don't,
Hey Phil, this is the AI section. You could chime in the chat, and I'll put them on the screen.
We could fall behind our global competitors like China. And I think President Trump laid out a plan for winning this AI race.
David, I'd agree with you. I think this probably is more important than the space race. How far ahead of China do you think we are right now in this race? How long would it take for them to catch up? How do we prevent that from happening specifically?
So I think when you look at our lead in the AI race, it kind of depends on what level of the stack you're looking at. So if you look at the top of the stack with the AI models, we're only, I would say, months ahead of the Chinese models. They've done a good job with models like DeepSeek and Qwen. But if you go deeper in the stack, we have, I'd say, more significant advantages. So when it comes to chip design, our leading company is NVIDIA. Their leading company is Huawei.
Theo said we can't win this AI race. We have students that think men can give birth. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, well, I'm just going to get my little piece then. Me, Quiet Storm, we're going to get our little piece of this AI trillion-dollar business and ride off into the sunset. Fair enough. Brother Zeke with the with the 304 tax.
Man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your mammy and your granny too. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck all you hoes. Don't give a damn, bitch, what you wanna do.
Denzel, before you leave, can you hit us off with that King Kong line?
King Kong,
I'm putting cases on all you. Can you curse on? You can't curse on it, can you?
No, you can't.
I'm putting cases. You'll be playing basketball in Pelican Bay when I get shoot program, nigga. 23-hour lockdown. You think you can do this to me, Shaq? You think you can do this to me?
Phil says we can make AI companies, but we won't make super crazy money. Millions, yes, but not billions. Really? Quiet Storm says Keisha will be left behind, and I'll be out of state of the art. I'll be working out at a state of the art Ballerica gym with Chewbacca. Yo, that you making a joke, but that's no bullshit. Yeah, Phil, if you're gonna be in Sao Paulo sometime reasonably in the next half year or so, man, I'm already in South America. I mean, I'll fly to Southeast Asia, but man, I'll come see you in Sao Paulo. Hell yeah! International film. We will have have all the high quality Brazilian women. Yeah, that's a whole fact, though. I want this woman at my gym. InstaFit bio. Yo, drop Theo's join in my WhatsApp Quiet Storm. Y'all crazy. This is the way.
I would say that NVIDIA is still a couple of years ahead. Then you go deeper in the stack to chip manufacturing, and you've got TSMC on the western side of the ledger, and they're several years ahead of the Chinese national champion, which is called SMIC. So it just depends on what level of the stack you're talking about. But I think the most important thing is that we try to maintain this lead. We don't want to sacrifice it. And I think President Trump brought up a few really important ways of doing this. Number one is we have to unleash American energy. The new AI data centers, the new infrastructure we need to build is very power hungry. It requires a lot of electricity. And President Trump signed an executive order to build out AI infrastructure. And he's understood for a long time that we have to drill, baby, drill. We have to build, baby, build. We have to, again, if you want to have AI dominance, you've got to have energy dominance. So that was a huge part of the speech. Another area that I think is very important that President Trump talked about is AI exports. We want the whole world using the American tech stack. We want the world to consolidate around an American standard. If we don't provide that standard, Huawei surely will. And so I think President Trump brought up that, and he signed an executive order to make AI exports easier.
He also made commentary. Well, actually, let's go to the energy part of this first, because signing this executive order is one thing. There have been others who have theorized that you really need an infrastructure plan that's organized by the government, kind of like the national highway system was set up. Do you think we need something along those lines, or can private industry really step in and bring us the energy needs that are going to be upon us in the next couple of years?
Well, private industry is already investing hundreds of billions of dollars in this infrastructure build out. So the private sector investment is there. What we need to do is unlock it from the shackles of all this red tape. It takes years to get permitted. President Trump promised to make that easier, to bring the timeline down from years to weeks or months. There's environmental concerns that really tie up these projects, and he's tasked Lee Zeldin with solving those. So I think that we do need to have more of a partnership mentality with the private sector, but it's the private sector is going to do the building here, and we just need to get unnecessary red tape out of the way to enable that.
David, related to that, though, is this question of just how much energy is going to be consumed. We talk about it on this broadcast all the time, the amount of energy that's required, the amount of water that's required. Obviously, certain states are better adept and also have less regulations around them. But ultimately, we've had some guests come on and say, 5 years from now, all these governors who are begging for this stuff to happen in their state may say to themselves, you know what, electricity prices are going to go up in my state to consumers. There's a question if there's a hurricane, who ultimately, gets the electricity in that, because of the uptime requirements and guarantees that a lot of these tech companies are making with the data centers, and therefore the energy providers, that could leave consumers out in the cold. How do you think about that dynamic?
Well, this is exactly why I think we have to build more energy. We have to unleash American energy, is because you don't want residential prices to go up every time you add a data center. It doesn't make sense. So it's true that in order to enable these new data centers that are very power hungry, you have to build more power generation. But that's the whole point of the executive order. And that's the whole point of President Trump's policy around making it easier to, again, drill, baby, drill. This is a campaign promise he made years ago, is that we had to make it easier to produce American energy. And he's had all of the above approach. I mean, he wants to make it easier for natural gas, for nuclear. He signed executive orders to make nuclear easier, and even what he calls big, beautiful coal. So I think that, the president has had this idea for a long time. He understands that more energy production is the basis for all future growth. And now that we have this AI boom going on, it's definitely the foundation for this AI, for the growth in AI as well.
Christ, they actively muted me, bro. Wow. Pookie and Ray Ray Show says it's only a matter of time before zero gravity technology is introduced. I know they're working on quantum computing also.
Well, so I think this is the plan of the administration is we got to produce more energy.
Hey, David, as the AI czar, people look to you for a lot of things, but you're a huge person from Silicon Valley, a huge figure in the industry. You grew up with PayPal next to Elon Musk. You learned an awful lot about that, and you're obviously invested in XAI as well. I just wonder how you look at the world in terms of open source or closed source models on these things, what you think about what OpenAI is doing right now. Do you have the same views as Elon Musk when it comes to what Sam Altman's doing, or do you see things a little differently?
Well, we don't take sides in which AI company is going to win. We just want to create the conditions, the environment for American AI to do well. And then within that environment or that ecosystem, we want to have at least several companies, maybe many companies competing. And we think that competition is good. That's what ultimately spurs America on. Under the Biden administration, they had this approach under this Biden executive order on AI of anointing a few winners in this AI race. That they had this mentality that they were going to centralize and control. And what we want to do is just create a level playing field so that we, let 1,000 flowers bloom. And, we think that competition brings out the best in everyone. That's how America wins, is we create the conditions for our private companies to compete with each other.
David, but speak to this if you can. I've been marveled at how successful Elon Musk has been, even in the past year and a half, in terms of spinning up XAI. And I would argue a lot of that has been his experience as a genuine engineer in terms of hardware and understanding energy. I mean, a lot of what we're talking about here is about energy. There have been questions recently about Stargate, which, of course, is the endeavor that Sam Altman and OpenAI have undertaken with Machismo, and how that's working out and how quickly that can get rolled out. How much, do you think that there's any issue with where Stargate is and how quickly that will roll out? And B, how much do you think that there's an issue of just how much experience and knowledge lives in Silicon Valley in terms of engineering to deal with this energy issue? Because the experience, with the exception of maybe Elon and some others who've dealt with hardware, is very different.
Well, it's true. I've spent time with folks from Silicon Valley and folks from the energy industry, and they are rather different industries. And in the past, they haven't intersected that much. And there are, I think, cultural differences between the industries. In the past, the energy industry, the grid, for example, has only grown by a couple of % a year. They just haven't ever had to contemplate the issues of hypergrowth. And then by contrast, Silicon Valley is really all built around how do you scale as quickly as possible. So, but I think what's happening now is that those conversations are happening. The Silicon Valley companies are driving out new requirements by the energy companies. And I think there's a lot of learning and sharing that's happening across those industries. So I think this is going to be figured out, and it's going to be enormously helped by the Trump administration, making it easier to produce more energy. That's really the key here to solving this problem.
We have a situation now through the One Big Beautiful Bill and what the White House did yesterday, where you're not going to have a lot of states and different jurisdictions that are setting new rules for AI in different ways that they have to compete. But you're still going to have to figure out how this works around the globe. You think of the Digital Services Act and what Europe has already done to some of our technology companies by trying to crack down on them. How do you and the president look at this in terms of how we kind of navigate other jurisdictions around the globe and what they can and can't do, what they should and should not be able to do when it comes to our AI companies?
All right, cool. That was the main piece I wanted to catch on that. And WAF says, I think the Chinese are going to crush us in AI. They got more engineers. I've been using the DeepSeek model. It's actually pretty good. The new Gemini model is good though, and Grok is great. We'll have to see. I have to pick Theo's brain on why he thinks the Chinese are going to crush us. Aside from them just having more engineers, better engineers. All right, let's do. I'm going to double down on this Letitia James thing. Because, we really want to see her. Really want to see her and Fannie. Fannie's been laying low under the radar, too. Trump is coming directly at Letitia. She tried to take $500 million from him. So let's double down on this DOJ probe into Letitia James.
I'm not afraid of no president. Donald Trump, we're ready for you. We're coming for you. We're standing up for you. We're fighting on. We're not going down silent. Victory, my friends, is clear. It's now. And I'm not waiting 4 years. I'm waiting 2 until a speaker by the name of Hakeem Jeffries comes to bring us some rest. Come on, ladies. It's up to us. We saved this democracy before. We'll save it now. Let's go.
Letitia James is getting buried in legal trouble. She threw around her considerable weight to persecute Donald Trump.
Her considerable
and the
weight
are coming home to roost. Do you remember when the bucktooth governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, set aside $10 billion of taxpayer money just so that Letitia James could defend herself from all the trouble that she's gotten herself into? Well, there may be a problem with that $10 million. Letitia James may be in so much hot water that even with that, she can't afford to defend herself. More on that in a minute.
And we have breaking news. Federal prosecutors have issued subpoenas to New York Attorney General Letitia James. Sources tell ABC News the subpoenas are related to her office's civil fraud case against President Trump and a corruption case against the National Rifle Association. The Department of Justice declined to comment. Now James's attorney's calling it.
Yo, facts. Brother Zeke says, not a democracy. So what these goofy broads save exactly? Yeah, and how?
A dangerous escalation and part of a political retribution campaign by the president. Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katersky is here with more on that. Aaron, what do we know so far?
We know these subpoenas were issued by the Northern District of New York. This is in Albany, and they were issued to the Attorney General's office seeking information about 2 of her cases. The one you mentioned, Diane, the civil fraud case against President Trump that resulted in a $500 million judgment that he is still appealing. The other case involves the office's lawsuit against the National Rifle Association that forced former head Wayne LaPierre to cough up more than $4 million after James alleged corruption and misappropriation of funds. The 2 cases were successful. Now federal prosecutors, we're told, are subpoenaing for information to see whether James, in the course of those cases, violated the civil rights of either the president or the NRA.
James's attorney is calling this part of a political retribution campaign. Have they said any more about how they plan to respond to this?
Well, we'll see how they respond to the subpoenas. There was no immediate response other than to call this the weaponization of the justice system. So, in effect, using Trump's criticism of James against him now that he is the president and his Justice Department is taking on Letitia James, who's been an adversary of his for quite some time.
All right, so Letitia James threw around her considerable weight in order to engage in lawfare against Donald Trump. You got to remember, this is a woman who specifically targeted Donald Trump, one individual person, for prosecutorial focus, let's just say, right?
We will fight back to your attempt to bring Trumpism to New York City. Of the fact that they stole the Supreme Court seat. An illegitimate president and an illegitimate member of the United States Supreme Court. Listen, we know he's crazy. We know he doesn't have a sound mind. We know he's out of control. We know he's losing it. We know his days are numbered and we will come together. We've got to stand up to an administration which is too male, too pale, and too stale.
Yo, she's just a big, angry, big back. And them liberal white women put that battery in her back, bro.
Too male, too pale, and too stale. Too male.
And look at these beta Brads behind her while she's saying too male, too pale, too stale. This Democratic Party's become a clown show, bro.
Too pale and too stale.
Thank you. You can get $1 million in life insurance for less than the cost of a latte per day. To one of the Soviets, Stalin's lieutenants, he said, "Show me the man and I will show you the crime." In other words, I'll make it up, which is basically what Letitia James has done with the whole Trump Organization prosecution, where she got the big judgment from him. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to be proven right on that, because the Supreme Court of New York is going to overturn that, because basically there was no crime committed. Even the bank that Trump dealt with said, hey.
Little Brooklyn says that fear has her looking in every direction at once. Yeah, she got the biggie eye. Yo, what up, Red Sigma? He said big angry Caribbean immigrant. Oh yeah, see, I didn't. So what is she, like, part Jamaican? Bruh. She gonna learn the hard way. She might end up losing her law license.
Hey, we made money with this guy. We're not upset. We do this all the time. But that wasn't good enough for Letitia James, because she had personal animus against Donald Trump. She had to bring that into her official duties. And essentially, the woman is just a corrupt cop. She's the top law enforcement officer of the state of New York. She's been running around. Anybody gives her a side eye, or you part your hair in a way that she doesn't like, and you can expect some type of charges from her office. Well, now she is under the microscope in not just one, not just two, but 3 federal cases, all of which have grand juries assigned. We've got the alleged mortgage fraud. Okay, we talked about that extensively, but now it's ratcheted up. Now we've also got this NRA suit. Okay, did she take a look at Wayne LaPierre and the folks over at the NRA and say, you know what, I got a problem with the Second Amendment, so let me do what I can to disrupt an advocacy organization that promotes the Second Amendment. Now, granted, we are honest here. Wayne LaPierre and the NRA, they're, in my opinion, better gun rights advocacy groups out there, right? But we see a pattern here with Letitia James. She's above the law in her mind, and she can use the law, as she said, as a sword and a shield.
I am going to use the law both as a sword and as a shield.
So as a sword to come after you with, as a shield to protect her from the same type of law that she is using as.
Red Sigma says she going to jail. Trump has to. She contributed to Trump's perk walk up and mugshot. Yo, these tethers are going to learn the hard way, bro.
A weapon against everyone else. Okay? This is from her mouth. All right. So Letitia James, I think it's safe to say, is again a corrupt and abusive cop She's got a badge, and she's using it against people she does not like. All right, now let's talk about that $10 million that Kathy Hochul and the Democrats up in New York State, they actually carved $10 million out of the New York State budget in order to, they say, create a legal defense fund for elected officials who are fighting charges that have been brought upon them, I guess, based on their office.
Yo, that's a whole fact, Irvin Reed. He said all Luciferians must tell the truth within their lies. I was just having a conversation about that. That is absolutely the truth. And that goes for some of the content creators down here.
Shit. Got your ass.
Okay? Which sounds silly to me. This was specifically done to protect Letitia James. Now, Letitia James should have, the Office of the Attorney General, rather, should have some money set aside to engage in legal defense of the office. Okay, that things happen. It is a highly litigious society, and it is an Attorney General's office. I get it, right? But when you're saying that you're setting aside $10 million, okay, for essentially one individual who has gone out and prosecuted and persecuted the hell out of everyone else. But now when the chickens come home to roost, she can't spend her own money on her legal defense. But here's the problem, $10 million. And they carved that out when the mortgage fraud case, when all those allegations were bubbling up, right? Years ago, I was told you need at least $10 million to fight feds.
Yeah, Red Sigma, 2025 has been the year of being exposed, ain't it? Everything from top to bottom.
On one case. So she's got potentially 3 federal cases that she's directly involved in now, okay, after the NRA and the Trump organization subpoenas. That would, based on my math, that's $30 million, okay? Math ain't mathing. So where's she going to get that money? Is Kathy Hochul and the corrupt Democrats in New York, are they going to carve out even more money for her? Take it from the taxpayers? Now, mind you, if you're a New Yorker, okay, chime in. I want to hear from you, especially on this question. Do you believe that if you get in legal trouble, now you're not elected, you're not connected, but do you believe that if you get in legal trouble, Kathy Hochul will develop a carve out of millions of dollars for you, for your legal defense, to keep you out of jail? You think that's possible? Right, we both know the answer to that, right? So, where there's smoke, there's fire. It was cool in the gang when Letitia James was running around and saying she was going to get Donald Trump and, you know, all this other stuff, right? But now, cooler heads are starting to prevail. And some people will say, oh, this is just revenge. Well, let's be adult about it. What do you think would happen if you were challenging someone, you were persecuting someone, and then that person went on to occupy a position of power? Let's not play games here, right? You know what that person would do. They would use that power in order to take a look at you. And wouldn't that be fair play? I mean, you can't be hypocritical about it, right, Letitia James? If you think that we should use the law to ferret out all of these issues and maybe even take it to a personal level, hell, Letitia James, you set the precedent, right? Now, it is true that they've got to go through these grand juries. They've got to develop charges. If that's not done, then of course, Letitia James cannot be prosecuted, right? And I'm in total agreement with that. If there's no evidence, then you can't prosecute her. That didn't stop her, okay? But that's a rubric that we must live by, because At the end of the day, we hope that New York citizens will wake up, realize what they elected, and boot her big ass out of office ASAP.
All right, spot on. I like the coverage he does. It's usually right down the middle, and like I've said before, I like seeing all these. Yo, the internet is flooded with black male content creators making political content covering it. Like you wouldn't believe how many. Like I'd be like I've featured like at least 5 or 6 of them on the news desk, right? And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I guess since I've been like subscribing to their channels, the algorithm has been suggesting like more and more, and every one of these guys I run into, like they're all like 200,000, 400,000, 500,000 subscribers. There's a huge niche for black male political commentators. They have huge followings. I had no idea. This one is Stephen A. Smith has a major warning for Democrats. Now bear in mind, Stephen A. Smith is still for hire. Poopy and Ray Ray show, hell yeah. There needs to be military tribunals. I was saying that the first term. Someone stated earlier, 2025, yep, is the year for F around and find out. Red Sigma, USAID, lined a lot of pockets, yep. No wonder they hate Trump. Yep, he cut their money out. He said, here we go with this fool. Exactly. Yeah, Stephen A. Smith. His talking points are still for sale. And I've made the argument the other evening. I'm not the first one that made it. Malcolm X was one of them. That the comedians and sportcasters are not the spokesperson for the free-thinking, everyday, productive black male. Because at any given time, they can turn into a minstrel. Like I said, I know him and Hannity are friends. He gets on there and tries to talk politics from Hannity, and then like he turns into half a minstrel when like confronted with a real logical political argument.
Guest with us now, gentlemen. How are you? Good morning to you. You guys look like brothers. I mean,
brothers in arms.
That's really amazing. Here was the line singing from the same playbook, songbook on Sunday Watch.
These times call for fighting fire with fire. We didn't ask for this fight.
All of us are concerned about the future of democracy. He's literally helping whittle it away and licking the boots of his leader, Donald Trump.
So what should Democrats do? Sit back and say, oh, gee, Trump is doing is terrible. We can't do anything. Let them win the election when they shouldn't. So Democrats have got to fight back. I think it's pathetic, but I think that's what they've got to do.
Hey, John, how do you see it? You go first. You're a witness.
Well, I'll tell you how I see it. I don't know if you've ever looked at a congressional map of the state of Illinois. You played audio from J.B. Pritzker there. There are some districts that stretch all across the state, just inexplicable drawing. And he himself made fun of it. I don't know that he, at the time when he made fun of it on the Colbert Report, realized that he was making fun of districts that were drawn specifically so that they could be represented only by Democrats. You play Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders represents the state of Vermont. Vermont hasn't had a Republican in the House of Representatives for maybe 30 years. Massachusetts doesn't have a Republican in the House of Representatives since like 1997. So Democrats are accusing Republicans of doing something that they have done for decades.
Yeah, I would say, just to add to that, is we're the ones now fighting fire with fire. It's the Republicans. It's Governor Abbott. You know, Democrats have gerrymandered these states forever. And I don't know who's in charge of PR in the Democratic Party, but sending these Dems from Texas up to Illinois, one of the worst Democratic gerrymanders in all of America, is hilarious. Republicans receive 44% of the vote, and they only represent 17% of the congressional districts in Illinois. It's absurd.
You know, somebody who is trying to do PR for the Democrats is Jasmine Crockett, a congresswoman from Texas. Stephen A. Smith had some thoughts about her. Watch here.
When you listen to Jasmine Crockett or an AOC and the way they talk about them, even an Elizabeth Warren to a lesser degree or what have you, the Republicans are having a field day. They like, put them up on the screen. Let's show.
Did he go on a trip and get a tan, or do they have just super dark makeup on him? Stephen A. look funny.
Them. They plaster them all over the place.
Michael, I mean, both of you are masters of political communication. He's got a point.
Well, I hate to praise a Knicks fan, but I'm going to go ahead and do it and say Stephen A. is correct. I think what he's also pointed out that's really smart is that so much of the Democratic establishment is scared of these people. They will not rebuke Mamdani for his Soviet grocery stores. No, they're all in on this. They think this is the future of the Democratic Party. I mean, good for him. There's going to have to be people in that party who force them to change their ways.
John?
Yeah, and I think that he represents a voice that is just left of center among Democrats who are like, wait a minute, where are all the normies? And the loudest voices on their side, people like Jasmine Crockett, are allowed to preserve this fiction that, for example, Jasmine Crockett went to very expensive private schools her entire life, and she acts like she didn't. And so I think that guys like Stephen A., and you even heard Jimmy Kimmel criticizing the comics on the left, saying that, like, they are really hurting their party's chances. I, for one, hope nobody listens to Stephen A. Smith and Jimmy Kimmel, because Republicans are doing pretty well with Democrats.
Well, we love having you, and we will listen to Ruthless Podcast. Thanks so much for being here, guys. Hey.
Ruthless Podcast being commandeered into the mainstream media, in this case Fox and Newsmax. Yo, we're watching the merger in real time, fellas. Red Sigma says Stephen A. Smith's parents are from St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. He was born in the Bronx, New York, but his family has Caribbean roots. So much makes sense now. Poogie Ray Ray Show says the same AIPAC handlers who control our politicians control these athletes and entertainers. That is a whole fact. That is a whole fact.
Shit. Got your ass.
Hell yeah. And let me see. Well, Zeke says Stephen A. Smith equals the first black live action Muppet. Yo, he was looking like a Muppet on that joint, right? I just thought I don't know if he just came back from like a sunny vacation or something, but he's looking extra dark. They put the extra dark makeup on him or something. Harry Monster, Sesame Street. That's funny as hell. All right, what? We're at the 1 hour, 24 minute mark. Man, that went fast. Let's rock out this last little segment and call it a wrap. We done already went through crypto. We did the editor at large. All right, cool. Let's just do a piece of this. Democrats have lost blue collar voters, and I actually watched the show, The Five, with Jesse Waters and Greg Gutfeld. So I'm actually only going to play a piece of this segment. But I want to hear the debate back and forth, because you'll see that this is mainstream. Live at 5 at 5. This is 5 o'clock prime time. They have commandeered a lot of the talking points politically from down in space, or what we're witnessing really is a convergence of some of the mainstream media, conservative in this case primarily, merging with some of the political sentiments that are down in the with regard to men's issues, i.e. manosphere, black manosphere, etc.
So Democrats are now facing a blue-collar revolt that could further crush them at the ballot box. The New York Times reports this. These are the voters who should scare Democrats most. They talked to working-class folks, some Biden voters in 2020 who flipped to Trump. They were fed up with the party's obsession with identity politics. One trucker puts it bluntly, quote, "It seemed like they were more concerned with DEI and LGBTQ issues and really just things that didn't pertain to me or concern me at all. They weren't concerned with really kitchen table issues. And
that ties into a talking point we continue to run on the Sunday shows, leading up to political season, where we were telling you guys to ask yourself, what is in it for me? And anything regarding DEI and the alphabet letter rainbow mafia wasn't, from a policy standpoint, was not providing anything that was in favor of you.
after years of loyally backing Democrats, the Teamsters Union reportedly donating to battleground Republicans in the upcoming midterms. Even Bernie's waving the warning flag.
And we have got to understand that the Democratic Party, in many, many respects, has turned its back on the working class of this country. And if Democrats want to win elections, they're going to have to stop taking money from billionaires and start responding to the needs of working people.
You know, Harold, Bernie actually refused to meet with the Teamsters, which I think shows it's not necessarily about politics, but about power, possibly. And it is this divide between the Democrats and working class voters could get worse if Mamdani wins, because his biggest supporters are affluent white liberals and not the working class.
Well, a couple of things. I think when we come to the Mamdani race and when.
Okay. This is Harold. Harold is the old school centrist Democrat that doesn't exist anymore. But he's a fence sitter. So this response is going to be less insane than a typical liberal response. But let's see if we can shuffle our way through the bullshit.
No, but Sanders and Mamdani are one of a kind. They endorse each other, support each other. Elizabeth Warren as well. So they come from a side of the party that believes, or not my side of the party. Mamdani is actually a socialist. I don't consider him a Democrat. Two, in my lifetime, there have been two major realignments of the political party system. One was in '92 when Bill Clinton won. Democrats had not won in a while. He had a different message. He was different on some of the social issues, including capital punishment. He was even different a little bit on the abortion issue. He was against late-term abortions. In my lifetime, I'm 55, the first time a national Democrat had spoken like that. He then gets to office 5 years later. The first time the government had been balanced, the budget had been balanced at the federal level in 30 years. It still hasn't been balanced since. And then 2016, President Trump, what he was able to do in upending the way working class voters thought about the Republican Party, in the way even minority groups, which have traditionally gone for Democrats, how they thought about the Republican Party. As we sit here today, Democrats still haven't gotten the right message. They seem to be more cathartic than strategic in their thinking about how to go forward.
Okay, Harold, you're talking some goddamn common sense. They don't have these type of Democrats no more.
Wouldn't it be nice if we actually offered ideas? I had some time one Saturday night, listened to an interview that Bernie Sanders had. I watched some of his rally in West Virginia. I was clearly didn't have a lot to do for a little bit on Saturday. But it was interesting because I listened, and a lot of the things he said I agreed with in terms of his diagnosing of the challenges. But his answers, he didn't really seem to have any answers. A lot of it, when it came time, I thought give answers, he just criticized President Trump. I thought to myself, wouldn't it be great if Democrats would encourage administration to provide, since they want to shut the Department of Education, say instead of doing that, let's provide more funding for cities and states that are doing reform things, innovative things. You've talked about some of the things in the past, including the state of Mississippi, which is doing remarkable things around K through 12 education. Cities that are doing things in the charter school space, even in the voucher space that's working. Let's reward those things that are working. Two, the biggest challenge, and one of the reasons that Mamdani's doing well here in New York, is that he's talking about affordability and housing affordability. Why not give first-time home buyers who qualify, who are actually eligible, who have the income, give them bigger down payment assistance, and let's give them bigger tax breaks to be able to own a home. President Trump said no taxes on tips and overtime. I kind of like the instinct, but the real thing ought to be to help everybody that's earning $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year, a little less. The first $50,000 of income should be tax-free for every American. Mm-hmm. That's what Democrats ought to be offering. The only way we're going to get back this group of voters and make this thing more competitive and have a chance to win again is if we stop attacking Trump and start addressing and listening to voters.
centrist, old school, centrist, 1992 Democrat. They don't exist in the party anymore. And this is all I'd be saying. You don't have to agree with his argument, but at least he made a damn argument. And then, now he proposed a policy solution. You may not agree with it, but now I've got something that I can argue with you about, as opposed to offering no policy. Everything is Trump bad, and rainbow, backdooria, racist. Those aren't policy. Those aren't policy arguments, and they're not well stated arguments. This type of argument from a Democrat, this guy's a dinosaur. They don't make. This is a 1992 centrist Democrat.
It's a very simple thing. It's happened for now. We'll celebrate 250 years next year. Every politician that's ever won has actually listened to voters and tried to respond to their needs and aspirations. And we're not doing a good job of that right now.
Joey, I'm often reminded of this one time in 2015 or 16, right around when President Trump was running, he had a rally. And he says, this country is...
He said the policy was legalized marijuana. Y'all stupid. Yeah, facts. Quiet Storm. Yeah, it's the current the entire liberal base and their form of communication to their constituency and the public at large is a hyperbolic sign language in full effect. Yeah, and the shit gets old.
dying because of political correctness, and he gets this huge standing ovation. And it was one of those times where I thought, he's tapping into something that has played out even to this day, to the point that now you have corporations relieved that they can get rid of their DEI programs. That universities are finally being brought back to some common sense. And I do think that whole DEI woke agenda really did alienate workers in addition to the economics.
Sure it did. Yeah. I mean, you think about blue collar workers. When I hear that, I guess I think about like Midwesterners that are diehard, dyed-in-the-wool union workers, conservative in their home, and have supported Democrat candidates over the years because of the Democrats' strong stranglehold on unions. And I think that's one of the places where President Trump has really flipped the script. I mean, when you look at Democrats from policy, not just from the things they say, but from their policy, they've abandoned the assembly line for the disability line. They've abandoned those struggling to get ahead in life for those that are unwilling to get in line to begin with. They've abandoned Americans and imported their own voters. I mean, those are the policies they've supported at least over the last 10 years. What is so ironic about all of this is Democrats still hold on to this idea that you can use your identity to connect to voters. I mean, you look at Scranton Joe Mondami comes in and he talks about all these things, and he doesn't really want you to know too much about his past or how he gets his rent. Donald Trump is a billionaire, Ivy educated from Manhattan, and he connects with people in these small towns, not because he uses his past.
No, he's from Queens. He lives in Manhattan. He's from Queens.
Or his background or his identity, but because he says the things they want to hear and does the things they want done. It really is.
He's making an argument that me and Saul make. Trump's the working man's billionaire, if there is such a thing. He's the working man's billionaire.
That simple.
It is simple.
And I don't know why they won't, much like Harold, I don't know why Democrats want to take up some of those issues.
In the last 4 years, we talked a lot about the Democrats pushing forward on student loan forgiveness and climate change. And those were two main issues, I think, that alienated them from their workers.
I'm glad you brought that up, Dana.
thank you.
You know why? Because when you say blue collar, we think, who do you mean? It's more about who you aren't. You know, when you look at the Democrat Party, you don't see blue collar. You see the polar opposite, this ghastly experiment of identity extremism, luxury beliefs held together with rage speak and victimhood. Blue collar, it's not.
Yo, that's spot on. Held together with rage speech and victimhood. Right. The elites and the weirdos at the bottom held together by rage speech and yo, that's actually spot on.
Non-binary, trans, screaming about the evils of white privilege and Gaza politics. They aren't blue collar, not spending their afternoons on TikTok or smoking weed at the park, demanding others to pay for their college loans. They work for a living. They raise families. When you look at it, I mean, it's funny. That's why the whole union thing seems so glaringly weird.
At bang, there you go. That's a good way to phrase it. Clyde Storm. He said, "To your damn research anchor, he is the blue collar, white collar, working class American who is just rich." Exactly.
Like, how is the union still there? Why are they still there? There's not a single issue that the Dems champion that resonates with, I'm going to say it, normal people. Party was hijacked by an unhinged, marginal, and mentally ill activist class.
Yup, a mentally ill activist class. But I'm of the opinion that they were cultivated to dumb down their voting constituency so that they never have to enact any policies, and they can, go full speed ahead with their globalist agenda while, the money still trickles all the way to the top with the elites.
Activists who see in their social media footprint power and status, nothing blue collar, nothing real about them. And now you have, I think Trump is somehow approaching the unions in a way that says it's okay to come here. The water's warm. Get away from these weirdos. They're not good for you. They don't care about you. And I've said it a million times, and I think, Harold, one day you're going to agree with me. I think that identity politics has done more to destroy the Democrat Party than anything, because it reversed what we were about, the melting pot, which was about stressing unity over differences. And identity politics went the opposite direction. It leaned into the very thing that we were trying to escape, which was tribalism, tribes against tribes, and in violence. And so what we did was we pitted groups against each other into some zero-sum game, and you basically get like a political cannibalism. Where if I'm not high on this pyramid, I'm talking too much pyramid of being aggrieved, then you are, and you can't share. I'm going to shut up.
I don't know why you invoke my name. I don't disagree with you. I think identity politics.
I was just trying to get a rise out of you, Harold.
Let's give you the last word, Emily.
Well, I thought it was so telling. So the Teamsters General President, Sean O'Brien, he said that Bernie Sanders stopped talking to him. And he was being interviewed, and the host was like, "Well, when did he stop talking to you?" And he said, "It was when we did not formally endorse the Democrat Party." And it goes back to your earlier question of, it is not about politics at all. Because if it was, then Bernie Sanders, presidential candidate, would have sat down and said, "Why aren't you endorsing me?" He cold-shouldered him because he took it personally, and it was about power. And that kind of hubris is what the Democrats have been to the table, which is an expectation. Oh, we are the automatic labor coalition. And the reason that they're so salty and they've taken such offense is because they thought they didn't have to earn it, that they just got it, right? They got those votes. When you look at where their money is going, the Teamsters PAC, the fact that they spread money to the NRCC, individual GOP House candidates across all of these battlefield states, not just white rural areas, but super urban, dense, multi-ethnic areas, and even the Republican Attorneys General Association. So the worst thing the Dems can do right now is get mad that they were broken up with and not listen to the reason why.
We'll see what they do. Okay, ahead, soft on crime insanity.
Bingo. Every got it right. He said, "I've said it before. They want human bio drones." Facts. All right, gentlemen, we're at the 1 hour, 40-minute mark. That is my time for this evening.
Shit. Got your ass.
That is my time for this evening. He said, "This clip is gold." Thank you, sir. Saul in the building.
Off by a star.
Shit. Got your ass.
All right, bet. Gentlemen, that is my time for the evening. I want to thank everybody who supported the stream this evening. Brother Zeke, International Quiet Storm, and the one and only D Rock Den. Man, One more time for Keisha. I don't have it loaded. Shit, I'll find it for you. Hold on. In the meantime, just hold on to this one real quick.
Man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your mammy and your granny too. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck all you hoes. Don't give a damn, bitch, what you wanna do.
All right, man. Hold on. Let me see if I can find your drop. But here, here's this one in the meantime.
We got more pricey games coming up in the second half of the show. Don't go away, folks. We got more pricey games coming up in the second half of the show. Don't go away, folks. We got more pricey.
Riker, my good fortune is your good fortune.
I don't need your fantasy women.
Oh, you're so stolid. You weren't like that before the beard. Very well.
All right. There's Star Trek. What you call it? Yeah, guys, that's my time for this evening, man. News desk again tomorrow, Thursday. We got Obsidian. As you guys all know, Obsidian is back in business on YouTube. Long overdue, long awaited. I'll have a good news segment for you guys tomorrow. Once again, man, thanks everybody for coming out supporting the stream. I really look forward to doing these news joins every evening now. On that note, man, once again, I will see you guys tomorrow. Obsidian over 500 subs in less than 24 hours. Hell yeah. That's super chat level. We just need them watch hours. Yeah, let's get Obsidian to 1,000 and get the ball rolling. So we're going to be sharing the streams. He'll be here Thursday, and we'll be dumping his new channel in the chat as well. You know how we do over here, man. We be trying to make sure none of the legends die over on this network. You already know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Once again, I will see you guys tomorrow. Like I always say about this time, good night and good luck.
Ugh, I miss 2025. Remember life before extraterrestrials took over? It was so primitive.
I love everything about you. Because I'm programmed to be your perfect soulmate. To make you happy.
You got his eyes right. But that's not his soul. You didn't prompt his soul. This isn't my dog.
Dave Campbell, I detect your cortisol levels are higher than usual. In the mood for a digital chat to calm you down? I'm prompted to please.
What the hell?
One more set on this mountain. Get your headsets on. We are simulating the best workout of your life.
Welcome to your afterlife trial. Please select your ideal eternity subscription plan.
Today, we'll be studying the nature of this reality. After class, all details will be downloaded into your knowledge base.
They don't want us to know.